So I remember the first time I saw someone shot. Follow my words. I didn't say get shot. I saw someone that was shot. I was 9 years old. I grew up in North Birmingham. I went to North Birmingham Elementary to be exact. My address as a kid was 3604 24th Street North. Trying to think what happened that day. My sister and I had walked home from school, so our house was so close to North Birmingham Elementary. We walked to school every morning. We walked back home. One day we got back home, did our standard stuff. I don't even remember it was homework that day. I do remember watching BET with my little sister. So I'm one of four. It's my younger sister, Candace. It's my older sister, Cindy. And it's my older brother, Ralph. My sister, Candace, and I, who we walked to school with every day, we were in the house watching BET. I don't even remember the show. I remember Big Les, though. We're watching TV and we hear a pop. Now, we're young enough, but old enough to know what a gunshot sounds like. So I actually go on the porch. And when I go on the porch, I see my older sister, Cindy. She's on the ground. She had been shot in her leg. And I remember her crying. I remember the entry room in her leg. I remember seeing blood. And then I remember panicking, worried about my sister, what happened. And then there were a host of things after that I don't remember. That wouldn't be the last time a sibling of mine was shot. Unfortunately, many years later in 2012, my brother was shot and killed. And recently, my wife woke me up out of my dream. She woke me up out of my sleep, actually, because I was dreaming about, I don't even remember the dream. What I remember is seeing my brother's face. What I also remember was crying in the dream, and apparently I was not just crying in a dream, but she shook me and woke me because it was real. Apparently I was crying in real life. This was very recent, by the way. And it reminds me that 12 years later, I still miss my brother tremendously. I'm seated here in front of all these guns. And we'll talk about that at some point. But each of these guns you see took somebody's life, took someone's family member's life, took a community member, someone who lives in our city's life. And we're coming up on an unfortunate milestone this year in 2024 of having homicides at the rate since 1933. And so as I back out of that and think, this is not just numbers, these are lives, these are family members, these are brothers, siblings, sisters, these are parents, some are grandparents, and these are children. These are victims and family members who will not get the chance to see their family member, their loved one on Thanksgiving. All right. America as a culture, as a society, we celebrate violence. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but we do. We as a country celebrate violence. It's embedded in so many everyday things we do. It's embedded in movies and TV shows. It's embedded in video games. It's embedded in music, not just hip hop and rap, but all of a few other genres. And I know I watch some of the same movies. I don't play video games anymore, but I do listen to the music. And so violence courses through our culture. Violence cultures, it rears its head through our society in so many ways. I often tell people when America gets a cold, Alabama gets the flu. But I also tell people when Alabama gets the flu, Birmingham unfortunately gets pneumonia. And I think in this American epidemic of gun violence right now, Birmingham is seeing the worst of it. It's been a fucked up year as it relates to gun violence in our city. I think about my own family. I haven't had one, but I've had two cousins killed in 2024. I had a classmate from elementary school, North Birmingham Elementary School. She was killed in a mass shooting in North Birmingham. So between funerals and between going to funeral homes, it's been just too much for my own family in 2024. But I don't substitute how I feel. I think about my cousin who lost her two children. All right. I think about the other victims' families who are still grieving, who, like me, wake up screaming or crying because they see their loved one in their dream. And that's fresh and it's still raw. I think about the empty seat that'll be at the Thanksgiving table this week, or whatever their Christmas tradition is that that family member won't get the chance to participate. That's pretty jacked. It's messed up. And so I think it's important, as the media runs its stories around numbers, tying it to all-time high, tying it to 1933, that we remember these are community members who had lives. These are community members who had families. These are community members, family members who were still grieving. And I'm thinking about them, and I hope we all take the time to say a special prayer for all the victims, families who've lost a loved one. All right, so we all know city of Birmingham is, unfortunately, as a city coming up on the historic high of homicide victims in our city, not seen since 1933. We're talking about almost 100 years. What's happened within that almost 100 years is that unfortunately, Birmingham, it's always been violent here. What's happening in 2024 is not new to our country. I'm sorry, thinking about what's happening at a global level. What's happening here in Birmingham is not new to our city or our community, unfortunately. That violent crime has always been at a rate that's too high. Whether it was lynching, whether it was bombings, and now in our case in 2024, what you see before you, gun violence. You know, I'm thinking about our country. I'm thinking about the Second Amendment. I'm thinking about what our founding fathers meant. The right to bear arms. And I get it. But I'm gonna bring an officer into this shot in a minute, because I'm here in front of these guns, and I don't know what you can see, but on the camera, what I see visually is how you guard your house, how you protect your home. I think it's very different from the interpretation before me, which is these military style weapons that folks are riding around with in our city, shooting out of their vehicles into other occupied vehicles or occupied homes. I'm not gonna touch any of these guns, but Officer Skinner, if you could come up, man. I'm sorry pulling you in. I know you didn't think you were gonna be on video today, so forgive me. Just work with me. Don't even worry about the camera. Just you and I are talking.
Okay.
But I do want you to show for our audience on display what is the average style gun here on the table.
Yeah, so we mostly get these AR style. Now, different makes and models for the AR, but that is the majority of them. You can see how they look. And then the Dracos and micro Dracos, we get those a lot in our city, in Birmingham, inside of cars. Like, these aren't stuff we took from people's houses that they were using to protect their houses. These are usually young males driving around with these in their car. You can fit one of these inside of your pants.
Tell us about this weapon right here.
So this is a Glock. It's a Glock 19. It's clear. The Glock 19. Ordinarily, a Glock is capable. It's semi-automatic. You can fire as many times as you can pull the trigger. So let's say you can pull the trigger twice in a second. So in a minute, you could shoot 120 rounds. As soon as this is inserted, if you had a drum that had more rounds, with this is a Glock switch. They usually go on the back of a gun. And the way to check if anybody in your family has one, this little slip right here allows the slide to not get caught. So with this, you can fire, they say, around 1,200 rounds in a minute, which is 10 times more than you could with just pulling the trigger with your finger.
You saying you only have to pull the trigger one time?
You can just hold the trigger and it'll fire 1,200 rounds if you've got enough ammo in a drum. But what's the problem with that is when you pull the trigger, it's way more inaccurate. As soon as you start pulling the trigger, it's going to lift up. So now, even if you were targeting somebody, which you shouldn't be doing, now you're hitting innocents and people that you weren't targeting. It's just something to think about.
I appreciate you, Officer Skinner.
No
I
problem.
mean, just your opinion or your thoughts. How long you been officer?
I've been here for 6 years.
Where do you think,
Or 8 years, I'm sorry.
where do you think they get these guns from? I mean,
Where do they get them from?
yeah. Where do you think they're getting these guns from?
We don't manufacture. Some of them are, some of them are stolen, right? The manufacturers, if that's what you're asking, the manufacturers for Glock is, they usually come out of Smyrna, Georgia, the ones that we get, or Smyrna, however you pronounce it.
What about these style guns?
For the most part, they get them from pawn shops and stuff. And what we've noticed with working with the ATF through our tracing the guns, is you'll get somebody that'll buy 5 or 6, 7, 8 guns, and then sell them off to other people, to felons, and stuff like that.
These aren't handguns. What would you describe these type of guns?
Well, with these actually get considered to be a pistol if they don't have the buttstock on them, like this. This makes it a rifle. Without it on there, it's considered a pistol. But yeah, it's not really a pistol. It doesn't feel like a pistol.
No, it does not. It doesn't look like one.
It doesn't look like one. But by law, that's what it's considered. As the law stand now.
All right. I really appreciate you. I'll let you get back to what you were doing.
Okay.
I just wanted you to describe, is there anything else you want to say about this? Again, this is not scripted.
We were talking about
this is raw and unedited.
Yeah. So what you were describing earlier is like PTSD that you had from your family members. Something I knew a lot about. And all the law enforcement officers around here probably suffer from some form of PTSD. Each of these guns represent a life that was taken. Each life that was taken represents family members that are also suffering from PTSD. And the place at the dinner table that these are taken, some of those places were at the children's table, not just the big boy table. So think about that.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you.
No problem.
All right. I pulled out my cell phone because I asked the chief to give me a breakdown of the homicides that have occurred in our city this year. I wanted to know time of day, the gender, the race of the victim. I wanted to know where it occurred, inside a house, inside a car, public property, private property, commercial property, parking lot, etc. I want to know if it was in the morning, afternoon, evening. And one of the biggest things I wanted to know was, what was the motive? What was the motive? Why was this person shot? What was this person hinting? So I got some notes in my phone, so you see me looking down while I'm talking to you. I don't want to make up anything. I want to pull it up. For my notes, three of the highest motives, all right? These aren't all the motives, but three of the highest motives that jump out. Believe it or not, the top one is a fight, all right? That's an actual physical fight. Probably started out as a verbal altercation, turned physical, and then one or two people pull out a gun, shoot each other, or one shoots the other person. We had a significant amount of those in 2024. Coming in after a fight, I believe, is revenge. Now, revenge can mean a whole lot of different things to people, but it's just that, revenge. I killed you because of something happened between us or between you and another person. I sought revenge. And the third one is drugs. Now, drugs tends to be something I need to talk to y'all about very, very plain. Because I don't think it's just a simple drug transaction going wrong in a lot of them. I think in some instances, unfortunately, what's happening is some really dumb, stupid behavior. You have people who have a plug. They are fronted drugs, fronted money, fronted a key, whatever. They're either supposed to pay it back at a certain time and they don't, or they do other stupid stuff, steal from somebody, rob somebody that has drugs, and then they get a price on their head. Again, this conversation is raw, but I got to speak plain to Birminghamians to let y'all know what's really happening in our city. I hadn't seen where it works out for anybody, where stealing from a drug dealer, getting fronted drugs and not paying it back, robbing a drug dealer where you can just walk around the city and think everything's going to be okay. Here's the problem where it gets worse. You know you did some dumb shit. You know what you did was stupid. You know what you did, you can get a price on your head. And you know what you do? You still go around your family, your friends like it's all good, like it's safe. Show up at your friend's barbecue or house. Got your baby mama or your new girlfriend in the car with you. She got her kid or kids in the car with them, knowing that you did something stupid. So what happens? Instead of just that revenge being at you, with these type of guns you see, as the officer told you, there's no accuracy here, and or people don't want to leave witnesses. So what happens? You spray a whole car, you spray a whole block, or you spray a whole place. Instead of you just being killed, your girlfriend is killed, your baby mama killed, your friend is killed just riding with you, or in cases we've seen in 2024, the extreme form, you got an innocent child killed. I got a problem with that. And then it gets worse, because somehow in this community, we've adopted a culture that goes beyond no snitching. There used to be a rule, no women, no children. But there have been too many innocent women, too many innocent children killed in 2024. And my biggest problem with everything, more than anything I just said, y'all give more protection to a shooter that's killed an innocent kid than anything else. And that's bullshit. If there was ever something to call out as just simple, plain bullshit. I don't care what type of code you have. Maybe you don't have a code at all, and that's the problem. We shouldn't have to beg the community to step up when an innocent child is killed. We shouldn't have to dangle money when an innocent child is killed. We should be doing everything we can. Everybody should be calling out who shot that, who did the shooting. Let's be real. Birmingham is a big, small town. So what's happening in our city? You got shooters that go out here, do what they do, spin the block, shoot up a place, shoot innocent people, shoot kids. And you know what they do? They go back and lay their head down back at their mama house, their baby mama house, or their girlfriend house. Ain't no secrets. There are no secrets. But I got women providing safe harbor to these punk men that's out here hurting kids. I got a problem with that. You should too. Community, you should be as outraged as I am that people provide safe harbor in the city for people who hurt kids. We got to be better. Look, y'all. Everybody know we're short police. That's no secret. But hell, any mid-sized or large-sized city in America right now don't have the number of officers they need. Or nor does any school system have the number of teachers they need. Or any hospital have the number of nurses they need. So Birmingham is not unique. Birmingham is not alone. But let's be very real. If I put an officer on every corner, it wouldn't stop some of this behavior. Because an officer can't be in every home. An officer can't be in every car. And when I look at the numbers, so many of these homicides have occurred inside a home, right outside of a home, on residential private property. So many have occurred inside a car. And I'm not just talking about a person in another car shooting into another car. No, I'm talking about a group of people in a car and there is a gunshot or gunshots from within that car. Birmingham, Alabama is not suffering from random acts of violence. We're suffering from acquaintances, friends, homies, partners who know each other, fall out for whatever reason, and then one or both of them go back and forth and start hurting each other. And hear me out, y'all. There's a whole nother segment. There's a whole nother portion. There's a whole nother conversation I'm gonna have with you where we'll get to not only solutions and what we're doing to address these problems, but I figure I want to have a real raw conversation with y'all. You see, at a higher level in America right now, mass shootings been happening well over a decade. First mass shooting I remember, I was in high school. I want to say it was like 1996, 1997, Columbine. I remember that. I was in high school. And literally these many decades later, we haven't found the fortitude as government leaders at the federal level, state level, to make better laws to protect people. So I go deeper than that and say that everybody knows the state of Alabama doesn't have a pistol permit anymore. So again, even if I give you an officer, more officers on our streets, people are still legally allowed to drive around with these type of guns you see, y'all. They're still allowed to walk around with these guns in their pants, sticks, as the young people call them. it is not a it's not a diss to state elected officials or the federal government, but they don't carry the burden as they don't carry the same burden as we do as local elected leaders. I live in a state where there's no home rule, so I'm not allowed to say that you can't drive around with these. I wish I could, because if I could, I would. And let me define that. I am a staunch advocate for the Second Amendment. And I am also pragmatic and realistic enough to know that we need more gun safety. All right? I'm not talking about gun restriction. I'm talking about gun safety. Gun safety says, should we continue to allow young people to walk around, carry around, drive around with these style weapons in our city? Because they're not used to protect their home. That's not what they're being used for in our city. So I hope we can continue to work with the state to give Birmingham some type of exception to the rules. Hell, allow a constitutional vote. If by vote the majority of the residents of the city of Birmingham think that people either need a permit or these type of weapons should not be allowed to be driven around with, give it to the voters. Empower the voters. If I was a betting man, I would believe the residents of Birmingham have had enough of this and want to see more gun safety laws in place that protect people in Birmingham. But that has to come from a level higher than me. So I'll continue to advocate without placing blame, wanting to work with people above me, because we all got to be on the solution to the end of solving this issue. But I say all that to say that a lot of this is human behavior. Laws, policing can't stop all of this. There is no Superman. No Superman is coming to save Birmingham. More laws won't prevent every homicide. More police will not prevent every homicide. What can prevent more homicides is a change of hearts and behaviors. The drug game don't work for everybody. Y'all are smart at it, you do dumb shit, and people die because of it. So we'll continue to work with the DEA, our narcotics team, to disrupt the drug flow in our city, because y'all ain't smooth with it, you're not cool with it, and too many people are dying. But I think there's something else too. I've seen people get killed over some really dumb shit. A dice game, a Facebook post, two girls get into a fight. I got grown men standing around. They got these big ass sticks. One girl beats up the other girl. And instead of just letting her walk away, the boy starts shooting at the girl or the who the girl's with. Man, that's some coward shit. It is. I don't care how you slice it, it is. I don't understand how, as a city, we haven't figured out the way to walk away from when we beefing with somebody. We take it to the next level. We show off our guns in our Facebook posts. We do all this dumb shit online, and then we try to live it out in reality. And then your mama got a t-shirt on, your friends and family members, baby mama got a t-shirt on, because some really dumb decisions. So what we're going to do is continue to make conflict resolution available for our young people. But when I go through the ages of all the people that have died this year, it's not necessarily on the younger end. A lot of men in their 30s and 40s dying this year. Some in their 50s and older. As men, we got to make better decisions, better choices. I'm not seeing how being a hothead is working for you or your family or our families in our community. I'm not sure how walking around with this, you think you're protecting yourself when you're the one that did something to somebody. I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but I wanted to give my honest, raw thoughts on behavior that's happening in Birmingham that are well beyond policing, that are well beyond just creating laws. Gun safety is something that can be better. More police on the streets is what we're actively attempting to do with the $16 million in active recruiting. I love Birmingham. I love our residents. Majority of our residents are safe, law-abiding citizens. Majority of our citizens in this city do the right thing. They get up, they put their pants on, they go to work, they take care of their kids. Majority of our kids are smart, creative, passionate, go to school every day, do their work. We got a handful of people who are reckless. A handful of people who don't care. A handful of people who walk around like they're terrorists. And we're to the point where instead of allowing them to snuff out life, we're going to snuff them out. As our new chief said, our new interim chief said, we have to create a culture where we make those who commit violent crime feel unsafe in this community. That is going to take more than policing. So hit Crime Stoppers up. Get paid. Help us take shooters and killers off the streets. We'll continue to do our part to provide more tax dollars towards public safety. We'll continue to be aggressive in hiring more police, doing everything we can to retain our police. We'll continue to promote peace. We'll continue to put tax dollars towards conflict resolution. We'll continue to put tax dollars towards our Restore program and our hospital-based program and provide resources for our victims who survive. We'll continue to do all those things. But trust me when I say those things are not enough. We need community members to change their mindsets, change their behaviors, change their actions, change who they hang with. Hell, get off social media. And if you're going to be on there, what you beefing over? It's fake anyway. Why are you trying to live out this fantasy in real life? This is a solvable problem in our city. This is a solvable problem in our state. And this is a solvable problem in our country. But it's going to take all of us. I don't give a shit what your party is, Republican or Democrat. Hell, my position is nonpartisan. So this is not some partisan conversation I'm having with you. I don't give a shit about any of that. I care about decreasing gun violence in our city. I care about decreasing crime. I care about saving lives. But hell, it's going to take more than one man. It's going to take more than one person. It's going to take more than the mayor. "2025 will be better than 2024. And it's going to be because we're going to arrest more shooters. It's going to be because you're going to help us. You're going to report crime. You're going to report those who are hurting people. It's going to be less because you're not going to give safe harbor to people that hurt children. It's going to be because we're going to provide more resources to people out here in the community who need them. Because you're going to come to us and say you need help and we're going to provide it. Jobs, access, a license. What else you need? drug rehab. What else you need? What else do you need so we can provide it for you to make better choices for your life? Let us know. Our job is to serve. Our job is to protect. Our job is to improve your quality of life. The shit y'all doing out here in the streets, you don't have to. We want to help. Let us know what that looks like for you. Help us create the program that works for you, the job training program that works for you. Let's put you to work, get you off the streets. Let's put money in your hand and take the gun out of your hand. Take care of your kids, your baby mama, and your girlfriend, and not have to worry about having a price over your head for doing dumb shit. That's what I got for y'all.